under assault right now. It's not alarmism, it's not exaggeration. This type of weather modification puts out chemicals and toxins, some known, some not known. Many people who try to debate this issue, if they ask you why they should believe this is going on, we have film of it happening, end of the argument. That's it. There's no debate, no discussion, this is not speculation. Also indicative of different materials being expelled from different portions of the aircraft. So again, this amounts to weather warfare, period. The U.S. has historically engaged in weather warfare around the globe. This is historical fact. We have data going back to Vietnam, 1968, Project Popeye, 1976, UN passed resolutions forbidding weather modification in wartime. So again, this is not speculation. We live in a society that's been trained to shut down when they hear the word conspiracy theory. They've been conditioned pretty well. But the bottom line is this is the issue that can't be ignored any longer. People can ignore Kennedy, people can ignore false flag events like Vietnam and even whatever happened on 9/11, but this issue can't be ignored. When in the North State, for example, we took variants of different planes, the different configurations of spray apparatus. This is an ongoing experiment. There's likely many different configurations. We see aircraft trails that have different color composition. So this is an ongoing experiment of which we are all a part, like it or not. More configurations. Obviously, there's a whole lot of planes with a whole lot of tanks doing a whole lot of something. So this kind of footage should not be ignored. Clearly, these are what would appear to be passenger planes, most of them with windows. So there appear to be many different types of aircrafts involved in the spraying activities. This is what we have. Again, global geoengineering, the ever-changing experiment, and we are, again, part of that experiment. Russian scholar warns of secret U.S. climate change weapon. We have Russia engaged in this as well. We also have China. And this is one of the reasons why it's so hard to get any sort of mainstream coverage, because the big players are all involved up to their eyeballs. So that's one of the reasons the media coverage is so sparse, but it's coming. What do weather weapons do? They wreak havoc in countries without anybody knowing they're even under assault. In the case of floods, droughts, all of this is a form of weather weaponry and weather warfare. And there is no arguing that we are all a part of weather warfare when our climate is being impacted the way it is right now. Again, countries...
And whoever's doing this should be charged with a criminal act. This could kill thousands, if not millions of people eventually. I mean, if you're inducing Alzheimer's disease on a worldwide scale, and you're inducing a number of diseases just from breathing it. I mean, within the lungs, you produce asthma, you produce chronic lung disease. People who have pre-existing chronic lung disease will precipitously get worse, because aluminum, as it enters the epithelium of the lungs, is going to produce intense inflammatory reactions, and that's going to produce a worsening of their pulmonary conditions. Also, the aluminum is absorbed into the bloodstream, can be deposited in the heart. People with heart failure would get worse. People with hypertension would get worse. Numerous diseases could be precipitated and worsened by such an insane policy. But it is criminal. It's a criminal act.
Yeah, no doubt.
No one was asked permission to do this. This was not announced publicly. This was not entered into a public forum, so these health issues could be discussed. They just secretly have done it on a worldwide scale of an enormous proportion.
Dr. Deagle, can you tell us something about chemtrails? How toxic are the materials in chemtrails?
Chemtrails. And chemtrails, by the way, barium salts are in chemtrails. They are 10,000 times more toxic to your nervous system than lead. They contain mycobacteria, viruses, Pseudomonas florensis bacteria, human plasma. I wonder what human plasma is doing in chemtrails. And this is not by conjecture. I did a lot of research before I'd ever say this. But these chemtrails are nasty. And there's three reasons for chemtrails. The first is, and I talked to my NSA buddies at Fort Carson, Peterson Air Force Base, and Buckley, where I was actually their doctor taking care of the pilots flying and spraying the chemtrails. So I know it's real. If anybody says it's not real, they're full of it. Okay, because I'm a whistleblower on the inside, it's not open for discussion. And my NSA buddies told me, 95% of them told me, They were up there trying to spray to reflect the sun out to stop global warming. So most of them are dumb enough to believe that garbage.
Public health program in Walla County and in several parts of Arizona. We require you have the authority and the means to fulfill your legal and moral obligation to investigate the source of the toxins that citizens are being exposed to at extreme levels, to the degree that laboratory blood tests of different citizens are registering consistently alarming results, including 12,000% above normal maximum levels of barium, a chemical not found normally in a natural environment. About a couple of months ago, a Golden Valley resident, Mr. Alan DeChico, he didn't feel good, he's been very sick, and he did a very several type of lab test. His blood test comprehended also barium, testing for barium and aluminum. The results came back. The maximum level of barium was supposed to be between 4 and 10, and his blood results came back within just 150. I say just is sarcastic. Over 1,000% above was supposed to be the maximum. Other people in the area, they're not really feeling good, especially elder people. And bottom line, they did the same test for barium and aluminum. With about 15 people, exactly, 17 people that did this test, this sort of a project. And we have 87% of them came back with the results of barium in their blood. It was between 500% above to 20,000% above the maximum. For example, we have a lady in Golden Valley that her blood test results came back with a level of 250. Remember, the maximum is supposed to be between 4 and 10. Where is the barium from? We have no idea. Or we know that we drink different sources of water. We all test our water. Personally, myself, I drink from a well, and we tested our well water. There is no barium. Most of the people that have been found positive with this barium, they come from they drink water from county sources or from city sources. So the water is clean. We live in different environment. We don't share the same roofs, the same household. We also eat different food.
You breathe the same air.
It's not just a fancy word. This is a very scary, poisoning element that on the long distance can destroy your immune system, can create some sort of several